So good morning and welcome to Mr. Wizard's Workshop, episode number 4. Focus today, the actionable item I'd like to leave with you guys is sleep and improving your sleep. So I have a quote from Shakespeare here: sleep, the main course in life's feast and the most nourishing. So as I said, the specific goal is to leave you guys and maybe give you an action item if you're willing to take it to make at least one improvement in your sleep routine. As usual, if you get some benefit from this video, please hit the link, the subscribe link, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and of course like the video. Also, if you know anyone that that you think would benefit from this video, please share the link with them. Kind of the motivating or the immediately motivating thing for me to go ahead and do this video is I'm a business coach, and I have some coaching clients who are successful, high energy go-getters, but I know they have some issues with sleep, and had a recent coaching session. I'm thinking of one client in particular, really in-depth discussion, and I think helped him kind of switch his thinking to at least a certain extent. And I'll send him the link to this video so he can watch it, and I'll kind of reinforce what we talked about on that coaching. So CDC, based on their research, determined that more than 1 in 3, I think it's right, 35% of Americans are sleep deprived. There's some short-term and long-term negative impacts of sleep deprivation. So I mean, one of the obvious ones, lack of alertness. So even missing just a little bit of sleep in any given night can have an impact on how you feel, how you function. It can significantly eat up your productivity over time. So related items: excessive daytime sleepiness. You just feel out of it, sleepy, tired during the day. Can impact your memory. So lack of sleep affects your ability to think, remember, and process information. Can also make you feel moody, and you become more likely to be grumpy and have conflicts. Can also impact quality of life. So sleep deprived, if you're much more likely to become or less likely to participate in normal activities or even to exercise. And very interesting statistics, the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration has determined that drowsy driving accounts for thousands of crashes, injuries, and fatalities every year. So there are also relationship stress. So I think I touched on this, but a little bit elaborate. Make you feel moody, more likely to have conflicts with others. I think that's a duplicate slide. So there's some longer term impacts: high blood pressure, heart attack, heart failure, stroke, obesity, depression, reduced immune system function, and lower sex drive, none of which are good things. So why is it that many people have problems with sleep? I think one of the things for many people is they don't really understand how important sleep is. They don't honor their need for sleep and think of it instead as a waste of time. And I think for type A folks, including many of my clients, successful entrepreneurs, they just have that mindset that sleep is a lost 8 hours every day, or lost 7 hours, or lost 5 hours, whatever it is, whatever number they have in their mind, that's the very minimum that they can get by with. I think another thing is just something that I specifically had to get a lot more intentional about is caffeine. So I like a cup of coffee in the morning, and I think caffeine in moderation in general is good for you, but for my body, I cannot consume any kind of caffeine past about 12 o'clock in the afternoon. If I do, I know for a fact it's going to negatively impact my sleep. Another thing is eating and drinking too late in the evening. I think the general recommendation is at least 3 hours before you go to bed, cut off, especially any heavy meals. I mean, a light snack's probably not going to impact you, but you really don't want to be eating past. So my goal, or typically I'm in bed by 9 o'clock because I'm a farmer kind of guy. Read for a while, but past 6 o'clock, I try to just cut off, don't have anything to eat. Another thing that can negatively impact your sleep is exercising, playing computer games, or watching TV too close to bedtime. So, I've by monitoring my sleep, and I'm going to talk very briefly. I have an OURA ring, which helped me over time to figure out and adjust those habits that were not contributing positive to my sleep. If I do any heavy exercise past about 4:30 in the afternoon, it definitely impacts my sleep. So weight work, jogging on my mini tramp, any kind of cardio, my treadmill. Try to get that all done by 2 or 3 in the afternoon at the latest. An irregular bedtime schedule can also be a problem. So one of the specific practices I put in place is to get a lot more intentional about what time I get up in the morning, what time I go to bed at night. I said my general schedules, I target trying to be in bed by 9 o'clock, and I'll typically read, and after that do a little relaxation, breathing, and meditation to really wind down. 9 o'clock in bed, and I set my alarm for 6 o'clock in the morning. Another thing, and this is something that maybe a lot of people aren't really tracking on, too much or poorly timed artificial light seriously impacts your sleep. Some researchers think that light is probably the most significant impact on sleep. More specifically, the blue wavelengths, which are actually beneficial during daylight hours because they can boost attention, reaction time, and mood, are very disruptive. So these are blue blocker glasses. So even earlier in the day, when I'm working a lot on the computer, I wear the blue blocker glasses because the blue spectrum also can have some longer term impact on your. But I'm especially careful that starting around 6 in the evening, if I'm doing anything on the computer, on my cell phone, on my Kindle, that I always have on my blue blockers. Okay, so as I said, the actual item I'd like for you to take is pick maybe at least one thing that you can start doing right now to improve your sleep. One good one would be just get your mind right. Do a little bit more research if you need to. If I haven't convinced you, there's a lot of really well done research out there that talks about the psychological and physical importance of getting good sleep and enough. And for most people, 7 hours is a minimum. For me, 8 hours is kind of my magic number. You might, based on your own specific physiology, something slightly less than 8 hours might be your optimum, but you can experiment with it. But for most people, and I know people that say, "Oh yeah, I only need 5 hours sleep," they're kind of fooling themselves. I've already mentioned a regular sleep schedule really helped me improve my sleep. Well, I've said that it's important to not exercise too late in the day, too close to bedtime. On the flip side, exercise, even if it's just a 10-minute walk, can actually help you get to sleep at night. I make my bed in the morning. I mean, would seem like a minor thing, but I think the latest research I was looking at, 62% of Americans think that having a neat bedroom contributes to their sleep. And I like when I go up to bed at night, everything's all squared away. I don't have to rearrange my covers or anything. So I've already mentioned, don't exercise, do computer work, play computer games, or watch TV too close to bedtime. I'd say too close is 2 to 3 hours, right? Again, don't eat or drink close to bedtime. Be very intentional about your coffee intake. As I mentioned, for me, 12 o'clock is the absolute cutoff. Actually, usually it's earlier than that. This is my last cup of coffee. I'm just about done. Some other things I've done is I put blackout curtains that, in the morning I open them up, and then at night, and that one that keeps light from waking me up earlier than 6 in the morning. I've got a white noise machine that I really like, and in my bedroom, well, one, I don't have cell phones, computers, or Kindle in my bedroom. I have night spectrum light bulb in my ceiling. I have a night spectrum reading light, so I'm not exposing myself to full spectrum artificial lights. And I'm avoiding the blue spectrum altogether. And you can, if you just Google or check on Amazon, you can get a night reading light. I actually have a couple. One of them's a clip-on for when I'm reading, and even overhead bulbs. Another thing, and this was one of the things I think really helped one of my clients, is put in place your own wind down routine. For me, there's a couple of things there. One is before I shut down my work for the evening, usually around anywhere from 4 to 6, depending on my schedule for the day, I create at least my first cut to-do list for the next day. And that might include, it's the to-do list, things I might be worried about, things that might weigh on my mind or that I don't want to forget about, that I want to put attention on the next day, but I don't want to take to bed with me and be mulling over when I'm lying in bed trying to go to sleep. I mean, a way to describe this is you're just closing the loop for the day and clearing your mind. And if you write it all down, that can free you up, and your mind, your conscious and your subconscious mind know that you've got the list. You're not just ignoring it, but you're deferring, thinking about or addressing those things that you really can't do anything about anyway when you're lying in bed. So, there was one other thing I want to do. So I did mention my OURA Ring, which it's a sleep monitor. Just want to show you guys. This is kind of bragging a little bit. So there's an app on your phone. So one of the things I do when I get up in the morning after I start my work day is check my statistics for the previous night. So here's, you can kind of see it, can't you? Let me stop sharing my screen. So it shows total hours sleep, get an efficiency number, a restfulness number. So the numbers I look at the most: total sleep, I got 7 hours 59 minutes. REM sleep, an hour and 27 minutes. And deep sleep, this is even more than I usually get, 2 hours and 54 minutes. For someone my age, I mean, that's like teenage numbers. At one time, when I first got the Ring a couple of years ago, I was nowhere close to that. But putting in place the things that I just described to you really helped me to turn around, because I was having some problems with sleep. And I think a lot of people think, well, when you get older, it's just a fact of life. And I remember my dad, even when in his early 60s, his sleep just went into the toilet and he didn't sleep well. But it's not a fact of life. You can do things, no matter what your age is, to significantly improve sleep. So let me encourage you to pick at least one of the things I've described to you and start putting it into place and become much more intentional about your sleep and getting good sleep.